Hi guys, today I want to speak about Lunaya, the project that is probably not getting as much attention as it deserves. And the reason is quite obvious, the location. This is quite far from established center of Dubai, and for many investors it's enough to immediately lose interest. But I actually think that the project can be very interesting for two types of investors. The first one is the long-term investor who is happy to own the property and rent it out for many years. And the second one, surprisingly, is an investor who is looking for capital appreciation and potentially exit at the completion. Let me explain why. To understand Lunaya, I think first we need to speak about Barari. Personally, Barari is one of my favorite communities in the city. And the main reason is landscaping. Once you enter the community, it genuinely feels different from almost everything else in the city. Mature trees, water, shade, lakes. The environment itself becomes a part of the product. And by the way, all the footages that you will see in this video were filmed by me in Barari in person. Some of it is a little shaky because I didn't want anyone in the community to feel uncomfortable, me going with the stabilizer, But honestly, Barari footages are much more entertaining to look at than looking at me for the next 10 minutes. So enjoy the views and you will understand better why I like this community so much. And the reason why Barari matters for Lunaya is that there is very direct connection between these two communities. This Al family stands behind both stories. The developer behind Barari named the same Barari, and the developer behind Lunaya is called Zaya. So the person whose name is Nadezal was directly involved in creating Barari before creating Zaya. So when we look at Lunaya, we don't see some new developer suddenly deciding to create some new story in Dubai. We see a development philosophy that has already worked once in Barari. Lunaya is not just a copy of Barari, but the philosophy is very similar. Large homes, low density, water, large public spaces. And now in case of Lunaya, you also have newer concepts such as swimmable lagoons, modern designs, and 20 years of additional experiences in creating residential communities. So the idea is basically the same: create such a strong environment that people are willing to compromise on the location to live there. And this brings us to the obvious disadvantage. Lunaya is quite far away. But this is definitely the main reason why this product can even exist at this price. If you try to create the same amount of greenery, water and public spaces closer to the central of Dubai, the economics would be completely different. So you are effectively accepting a weaker location today in exchange of a stronger product at a low entry price. And now, as always, let's take a look at the numbers. Today there is roughly 30% difference for Lunaya, off-plan and secondary in Barari. But I'm definitely not saying that Lunaya is 30% underpriced, because there are different locations and different stages of the development. Barari is already mature and developed, and Lunaya is not. But still, I find this gap very interesting, because Barari gives us an understanding how much people are willing to pay for such type of environment when it's ready and established. So I don't use Barari as the price target. I use it as a proof that people are ready to pay a premium for this type of lifestyle. The first investor I think this project may suit is someone with the long horizon. You buy today and at completion you either pay the rest yourself, or if you qualify and financing is available, you use the mortgage. Then you just rent out the property and simply hold it. So if your horizon is, let's say, 10 years, the most important question is how this part of the city will look like in 10 years. Because your future buyer will not see what you see now. They may see Palm Jebel Ali as already mature, ultra-premium development with its own infrastructure, hotels, beaches, restaurants, entertainment, retails, everything will be there. Most likely in 2036 they will see much more development around Palm Jebel Ali Marina. In 2036 they are close to Al Maktoum, which is the largest working airport in the world. In 2026 they are already close to Jebel Ali Free Zone that some of your buyers can probably work in. And also from this side of Dubai, Abu Dhabi is significantly closer, which is also a point. And don't forget that they will see Lunaya already as the mature and premium community with truly unique landscaping, working lagoons, real residents, real rents, real transactions. So today you're as an investor buying a promise, but in 10 years, as you understand, people will be buying the reality. So try to imagine yourself as your future buyer. The second scenario is more aggressive. For apartments, 25-75 payment plan creates a very strong leverage on your invested capital. So before the final payment, you have paid only 25% of your property price. So mathematically, every 1% increase in the property value represents 4% relative to those 25%. So a 10% increase will represent a 40% increase to the amount paid towards the property. But of course, don't forget about 4% Dubai Land Department fee and around 3,000 to 5,000 dirham administration fees. And there is much more important point. I would never ever recommend you to buy a 25-75 payment plan property if you have no idea where the remaining 75% are going to come from. So you should either have a capital to pay the final installment if you will not be able to find a buyer, or you should have a realistic understanding that you are going to qualify for the mortgage when the property will be completed. Otherwise, leverage starts to be an advantage and becomes a problem. So why do I personally find Lunaya so interesting? Not because I think that every property there automatically increases in price or location doesn't matter. Of course not. Location matters a lot. But what interests me is the combination. You have a product philosophy that has already worked before, and you have something genuinely differentiated from any other communities in the city. Also, you have a meaningful gap compared to the established community with the same philosophy already existing. And personally, I think in 10 years, Lunaya's location will be genuinely more valuable than the current Barari location. So investment question is, are you compensated enough today for taking the location risk? And personally, I think yes, you are. If you need the maximum liquidity in the next, let's say 2 years, Lunaya is probably not the right project. But if you have a longer horizon and you know how to get advantage from its amazing payment plan, I think this project may be one of the most interesting for you. So if you got inspired from my footages of Barari, or you got inspired of the potential of the future location of Lunaya, please don't hesitate to contact me. We will discuss the opportunities and particular units in Lunaya which can make you a lot of money or can make you happy in the future as the end user. Thanks for watching this video. Like and subscribe. See you in the next one.